Hi Senior Stage, this is JP. In this video we're just going to look at what you've learned in topic 6 and 7 up to now. In other words, what you need to be able to do comfortably when it comes to equations. An equation is when we've got two expressions that are equal to each other. So in this case we've got a left-hand side expression, left-hand side, and here we've got a right-hand side expression. And we want to solve this. We want to solve what needs to go into the box here for the left-hand side to be equal to the right-hand side. Okay, so that's quite cool. And then we've got you've seen all those videos that that the teachers have done about either you're doing the inverse operation. In other words, what's opposite of adding? You're plussing. What's opposite of subtracting? You're adding. What's opposite of multiplying? You're dividing. What's opposite of dividing? You're timesing. Okay, or whatever way you're going to that you feel is comfortable. Okay, so this is what I normally do is I use the inverse operation. So we've got a boxy plus by 3. Okay, but we don't want boxy plus by 3. We just want a boxy. So how would you get the plus 3 away? Well, you would minus 3 there on the left hand side. But remember the rules of this game is what you do on one side, you must do on the other side, right, when it comes to adding and subtracting. So in other words, I need to minus 3 on both sides. And what we've got then is we've got just the boxy on the left-hand side. 3 minus 3 is 0. And what do we have on the right-hand side there? 8 minus 3 is equal to 5. Okay, and of course that would make sense. What does this answer mean? That means if I would substitute, so our question originally was boxy plus by 3 is equal to 8. In other words, if I would put 5 into the boxy, 5 plus by 3 is equal to 8. And so that's the left-hand side. And the right-hand side, of course, is equal to 8. So therefore, my left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. That is a real value, real solution that we worked out for which my left-hand side will equal to the right-hand side. But of course, we're not always going to draw boxes. So if I ask you what is x plus by 2 and the answer is equal to 6, for which value of x will x plus by 2 be equal to 6? What can we do here? So we want to get rid of the plus 2, right? So we're going to minus 2 there, but we're going to minus 2 on both sides, right? And therefore we've got 2 minus 2, of course, is 0. So on the left-hand side we only have x, and on the right-hand side we have 4, all right? What does that mean? That means if you substitute 4 into x, 4 plus by 2 is equal to 6, right? So remember it was x plus by 2 is equal to 6. So 4 plus by 2 is equal to 6. Is 4 plus 2 is equal to 6? Yes, 6 is equal to 6. So that is the only real value that exists for the left-hand side there to be equal to the right-hand side. Then we can have a question like x minus 2 is equal to 6. What would you do now? We still want to get x alone. So how do I get rid of the negative 2? I don't want a negative 2 on the left-hand side. I only want an x, right? So what do I need to do there? So you add 2 there on the left-hand side, but you can't just add on one side. This is like sitting on a seesaw, right? If someone sits on the one side, so seesaw, it's balanced. So if someone sits on the one side, if you just keep on adding there, it's going to go down. What you need to do is, of course, add the same thing on the right-hand side. Okay, so we're going to add 2 on both sides. So you add 2 on the left-hand side, and you add 2 on the right-hand side. So therefore, what do we get? On the left-hand side, we just have x, okay? And on the right-hand side, 6 plus 2 is 8. What does that mean? That means x is equal to 8. What does that mean? Well, if I substitute 8 into x, all right, that is the only way where 8 minus 6 is 6. The only real value for which the left-hand side will equal to the right-hand side. Then we can get questions where there's not just an x, but there's a 2x, or there's a coefficient, right? So 2x, of course, here would mean, well, x plus by x, right? X times by x is equal to x squared. So just remember, don't confuse those two. Okay, so in this question, we've got 2x plus by 2 is equal to 6. So the first thing is, of course, we want to get x alone, right? So what do I need to do first? I need to get rid of this plus by 2 there. How do I get rid of the plus by 2? Well, I minus 2 on the left-hand side, but then immediately I need to minus 2 on the right-hand side. So on the left-hand side, what is 2 minus 2? Well, 2 minus 2 is 0, right? So 2x is equal to, and then what is 6 minus 2? That is equal to 4. Okay, but I don't want 2x. I just want x. So remember, this means 2x means 2 times by x, right? Or x plus by x. So this is like saying 2 items cost 4 rand. What is the price of one item then? Okay, 2 of the same items cost 4 rand. What is the price of one of those items? Well, you would just half it, right? You would divide it by 2. Okay, so in this case, we've got 2 times by x is equal to 4. That's what 2x means. So, and how do I just get x then? Well, I would divide by 2 on the left-hand side, and I would divide by 2 on the right-hand side. Do you follow that? So on the left-hand side, we divide by 2. Okay, why do we divide by 2? Because the coefficient of x is 2. We want a 1x. Okay, and what is 2x divided by 2? Well, that answer is just going to be equal to x. And what is 4 divided by 2? That answer is going to be 2. That means x is equal to 2. What does that mean again? If I've got the question 2x plus 2 is equal to 6, and if I substitute 2 into x, right? So it's equal to 6. What that means then is 2 times by 2 is 4. And 4 plus by 2 is 6. Do you see? The left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. It's the only real value that exists for that to be the case. And then we've got questions like 3x minus 2 is equal to 10. So again, you want to get x alone. So how do I get rid of the negative 2 there? Well, add 2 on the left-hand side, and then you're going to add 2 on the right-hand side. So what do we have on the left-hand side there? We have 3x, right? Minus 2 plus 2 is 0. And on the right-hand side, what is 10 plus by 2? That's equal to 12. Okay, so 3 times by x is equal to 12. What's the opposite? Well, I just want x. So how do I get rid of the 3 times by x? Well, we divide by 3, right? So we're going to divide by 3 on the left-hand side. But I can't just divide by 3 on the left-hand side. Then I need to divide by 3 on the right-hand side as well. So what do I get then? Therefore, x is equal to 4, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That means x is equal to 4. And we normally just say, therefore, x is equal to 4. Okay, so what does that mean again? 3x minus 2 is equal to 10. So that means 3 times by 4 minus 2 is equal to 10. So that means 12 minus 2. What is 12 minus 2? That is 10. The left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. Yippee yay. And then questions like 5 minus 3x is equal to 4. Here we've got a negative coefficient of x. The coefficient of x here is negative 3. Okay, so the first thing, again, and I really don't mind how you do it. Just be comfortable with whatever approach you're going to take. If you want to leave your x's on the left-hand side, do it, right? If you want to manipulate it, to have positive coefficients of x, do that. Just whatever you choose, be confident with it. So I'm going to do this question in 2 different ways. Okay, and you decide which one you want to do. Okay, so the first approach is I'm going to leave my x's on the left-hand side. Okay, so the first thing I want to get is, so we've got 5 minus 3x is equal to 4. I want to get rid of this plus 5 there because I only want x's. Okay, so remember there's a plus in front there. We just don't write it, right? Because we're too lazy. We are not too lazy, we are just lazy. So how do I get rid of the plus 5 on the left-hand side? I need to, on the left-hand side, minus 5. All right, but then I need to minus 5 on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. Okay, cool. So we've got 5 minus 5. What is 5 minus 5? Well, that is 0. So on the left-hand side here, we've got the negative 3x. And on the right-hand side, we've got 4 minus 5, which is equal to minus 1. Okay, so 3 times the number is equal to minus 1. Okay, so minus 3 times the number, sorry. So minus 3 times by x is equal to negative 1. How do I get rid of the negative 3 times by? Well, I would divide by minus 3, right? You would divide by the coefficient to get a coefficient of 1. So here you would divide by negative 3, and you would divide by negative 3. So therefore, x then is going to equal to, and what is minus 1 divided by minus a third? That is equal to positive a third. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's just go through it again. So you would, how do you get rid of the plus 5? You minus 5 on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, 4 minus 5 is minus 1. And then you'll divide minus 3 on both sides. And remember, if you multiply or divide the same signs, the answers are positive. Negative divided by negative, or negative times a negative, or a positive divided by a positive, the answer would be a positive, and 1 over 3 you can just leave as 1 over 3. All right. Another way to do this is if you're not smarking the negative 3x so much, right? So you've got 5 minus 3x is equal to 4, okay? And what you would do is you want to manipulate this equation so you have a positive 3x, okay? So in other words, what you can do is you can leave the 5 there, just chilling. Remember, these are two different terms. 5 and minus 3x, two different terms. Plus and minus separate them. Bit of social distancing there. All right. And what do I need to do now? Well, we've got the negative 3x, right? And so what are we going to do? We're going to add 3x on the left-hand side. Okay, I don't want the negative 3x on the left-hand side. Okay, but I can't just do it on one side. Therefore, right, I need to add 3x on the right-hand side as well. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. You add 3x on both sides. Why would you do that? Well, we would do that because then we've got a positive 3x, all right? I know with whatever is happening in the world here, we're very negative sometimes, and some people just like, no, I can't take a negative coefficient. Please, I can't. You know, so let's just manipulate this equation so it's not negative anymore. Okay, that's cool. And then what do I do now? Well, I need to get 3x alone. How do I get 3x alone there? I need to minus 4 on the left-hand side there. Hopefully that makes sense. I want to get rid of this plus 4 there, so you're going to minus 4 on the left-hand side. But I also then need to do what? Yes, louder. Yes, well done. I need to minus 4 on both sides. And then what is 5 minus 4? It's 1. And what is 4 minus 4 on the right-hand side? 0. Of course, that's where we minus 4. So then we've got 3x is equal to 1. Now, 1 is equal to 3x, and 3x is equal to 1 is the same thing, right? In equation, it doesn't matter. We normally just read from x. That is exactly the same as saying 3x is equal to 1. Therefore, what do? 3 times by x is equal to 1. I need to, what do I need to do? Yes, divide by 3, divide by 3. Right, so therefore x is going to equal to a third. So let's look at this equation here. Minus 7 minus 2x is equal to 4. Okay, so I'm going to do this question again in two different ways. First way is let's get the x alone on the left-hand side. So the first approach is x is going to stay on the left-hand side and all my constants are going to be on the right-hand side. Okay, so what I would do is what should I do? Yes, plus 7 on both sides. So plus 7 there, and then you're going to get on the right-hand side there, you're also going to plus by 7. Okay, so minus 7 plus by 7 on the left-hand side here is going to equal to 0. And what is, so that's just a negative 2x that's left there on the left-hand side. And what is 4 plus by 7 on the right-hand side? That is equal to 11. All right, so we've got minus 2 times by x is equal to 11. Okay, but I don't want minus 2 times x, I just want x. So how do I get just x? Well, you need to divide by that coefficient, the minus 2 on both sides, right? So therefore we've got x is equal to negative 11 over 2. Senior stage, just to remind you quickly, so when I've got 11 divided by minus 2, that is the same as saying minus 11 divided by 2, and that's the same as saying minus 11 over 2. Okay, so, and why is that the case? Because a positive divided by negative is a negative, right? A negative divided by a positive is a negative, and of course the whole thing is then, the fraction means it's a negative fraction. Okay, so just to make sure, I just want to make sure. So the other part, okay, so let's do the same, let's solve the same equation, but in this case you are fixated on getting your x's with a positive exponent. Okay, so let's go for it. So minus 7 minus 2x. So what you'll do is you would add 2x on the left-hand side. And what does that mean then? Well, you need to add 2x on the right-hand side. So what we have on the in the equation here, minus 2x plus by 2x is 0. So we've got negative 7 here on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, we've got 4 plus by 2x. All right. So how do I do this now? You would say, okay, how do I get rid of I just wanted 2x on the right-hand side, so what do I need to do? So we've got a 4 plus by 2x, what do I need to do there? I need to minus that 4 on both sides, right? To get only 2x alone. So, and that then, of course, would mean that, well, you would minus 4 on the left-hand side as well. And what is minus 7 minus 4? That's minus 11. So minus 11 is equal to 2x. So that, of course, is then the same as saying 2x is equal to minus 11. And what you'd notice, you've got that step there then. All right, it's exactly the same. And then from then on, it's exactly that. 2 times pi x is equal to minus 11. But I don't want 2 times x, I just want x. So you would divide by 2 on both sides. So therefore, what do we have? We've got x is equal to minus 11 over 2. Right, and then we had questions where there's brackets involved, right? Where, for example, 2 is multiplied by a bracket, okay, and then something like that. All right, so and that it's no different, and it doesn't make it actually much more different. So in this case, just what that means is 2 is multiplied by the brackets x minus 3. So 2 is multiplied by both x and by minus 3. So what you're just going to do is you're just going to distribute the 2, multiply the 2 to both terms, like you would normally do. 2 times by x is 2x, 2 times by negative 3 is negative 6, and that is equal to 5. Okay, what do I do from there? That's quite easy now. What's the opposite of, I want to get rid of this minus 6 there. So how do I get rid of the minus 6? You would add 6 on the left-hand side, but I can't just add it on the left-hand side. I also then need to add it on the right-hand side. So that means that 2x is minus 6 plus 6, of course, is 0. And 5 plus by 6 on the right-hand side is 11. That means 2 times by x is equal to 11. How do I get rid of the 2 times by x? I only want 1x. Well, you would divide by 2 on both sides. And that's it. So therefore, x is going to equal to 11 over 2. All right, then a question like this, 5 minus 2 times by x plus 2 is equal to 6. Okay, and remember the order of operations. This 5 is a term right there on its own. Negative 2 is multiplied to the bracket. Social distancing taking place. These two are together, this one not. That's a term, that's a term, that's a term. Okay, cool. So in other words, why am I saying that? Can I subtract the 2 from the 5? Can I go 5 minus 2? No, you cannot. Why not? Because the minus 2 is multiplied to the bracket. You need to do that first. Okay, so leave the 5 there, all right? And please don't put there like an equal sign in front. I mean, that makes no sign. It is an equation, right? There's an equal sign. You only have one equal sign, right? Okay, so here we go. So 5, leave the 5 there. And now what you're going to do is you're going to distribute that negative 2 to both terms. Okay, so what is minus 2 times x? Negative 2x. And what is minus 2 times by plus 2 is negative 4. And that answer is equal to 6. All right, and then we're going to go through the same way. We have two approaches here. You can go, actually, what is 5 minus 4? 5 minus 4 is 1, all right? Okay, so you can do that. Or what you can do is you can say, okay, so we've got this question, 5 minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 6. We can subtract, we want to get rid of this plus 5, so minus 5 there on the left-hand side, but also minus it on the right-hand side. And we want to get rid of this minus 4 there, so we're going to add 4 there and add 4 there. Does that make sense? So add 4 on both sides, and of course we're going to subtract 5 on both sides. Okay, so what do we have left on the left-hand side? We've got a negative 2x. We minus 5 and added 4 on both sides. And what do we have on the right-hand side? 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 plus by 4 is 5. Okay? So we've got negative 2 times by x is equal to 5. Okay, I don't want minus 2 times by x. I just want plus 1x. So therefore, I need to divide by minus 2 on both sides. Therefore, what's that answer equal to? X then is equal to minus 5 over 2. And just one more of these questions. So in other words, we can't subtract the 2 and the 3 from each other. We can't go 2 minus 3. That won't make any sense. We need to first expand the negative 3 to its bracket because minus 3 is multiplied to that bracket. So if we expand that, we're going to get minus 3x. And negative 3 times by negative 2 is plus 6. And that is equal to 5. Okay, we want to get x alone. So if I want to get minus 3x alone here, what do I need to do? We've got a plus 2 there, right? And we've got a plus 6. So how do I get rid of the plus 2? So the plus 2, you would minus 2 on the left-hand side, right? But then I can't just add it, subtract it on the left-hand side. I also need to subtract it on the right-hand side. And how do I get rid of the plus 6? So there's a plus 6. So I need to minus 6 on the left-hand side and minus 6 on the right-hand side. So what do I have? I've got negative 3x there is equal to 5 minus 2 minus 6, which is equal to, what's that? 3 minus 6 is equal to negative 3. Right. And what does that mean then? Well, negative 3 times by x is equal to negative 3. Negative 3 times by what is minus 3? Of course, that answer is 1. But how do I do that? So you're going to divide by the coefficient, right? The negative 3 on the left-hand side, but you also divide it on the right-hand side. So you do exactly the same thing, right? And what is negative 3 divided by negative 3? That is equal to 1. All right. And again, what does that answer mean? That means 2 minus 3, x minus 2 is equal to 5. If I want to check if this is legal, or if this is the right answer, you would substitute 1, right, into x. So there's the 1. Minus 2 is equal to 5. Is the left-hand side expression then therefore equal to 5? 2 minus 3, 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Minus 3 then times by minus 1 is plus by 3, and 2 plus by 3 is 5. Yippee yay! 5 is equal to 5. The left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. That means that x is equal to 1. Okay, so then we got those questions where there's x's, equations where there's x's on both sides of the equation. Right. And it actually doesn't make such a big difference, right? You must just continue with that same rhythm, right? You get your x's alone, get your constants alone, and just go through those operations. Okay, so this is what I would do. I would get my x's on the left-hand side there, so I've got the 5x, right? And then, so what I want is, my first thing is, okay, so let's get rid of this plus 3 there. Right, so we've got a plus 3 there currently. Let's minus 3 on both sides. So minus 3 there, and that is equal to 2x plus 10. But I can't just minus 3 on the left-hand side. No. I need to minus 3 on both sides. So therefore, we've got 5x on the left-hand side. And what do we have on the right-hand side there? We've got 2x, and 10 minus 3 is equal to 7. You cool with that? So we've got now a plus 2x on the right-hand side here. There's a plus 2x, right? How do I get rid of this plus 2x on the right-hand side? Okay, I want my x's on the left-hand side. All my x's on the left-hand side, all my numbers on the constants on the right-hand side. So you would minus 2x there, right? And you would minus 2x on the left-hand side. So therefore, we minus 2x on both sides. And what is on the left-hand side now? What is 5x minus 2x? That is equal to 3x, right? And then, of course, what is 2x minus 2x? Nothing. And so therefore, 3x is equal to 7, all right? But what is x then equal to? Well, that means 3 times x is equal to 7. And how do I get rid of I don't want 3 times x, I only want 1x. So 3 of the same things, you would divide by 3, right? So divide by the coefficient, divide by the coefficient. So that means x is equal to 7/3. So a question like this, a negative 2x plus by 3 is equal to 5x minus 2. If we solve for x here, okay, so again, two ways you can do it. You can get your x on the left-hand side, x on the right-hand side. It doesn't matter. Again, just be consistent whatever you do. Okay, so if I would get my x's on the left-hand side for the first approach, so negative 2x, so I need to get rid of this plus by 3 there. Okay, so how do I get rid of the plus by 3? You would minus 3 there, but you would minus it on both sides, right? Good. So we've got then negative 2x, 3 minus 3 is 0, right? And then we've got 5x minus 5. Okay, so if I want my x's on the left-hand side, okay, so what do? I've got this 5x minus 5 there. So on the right-hand side, I want no x's. How do I get rid of the plus 5x? Okay, so remember that's a plus 5x there. I need to minus 5x on the right-hand side, but I also need to minus it on the left-hand side, right? So therefore, we've got negative 7x is equal to, and on the right-hand side, 5x minus 5x is 0. So we've got negative 5. Negative 7x is equal to negative 5. Okay, so that means negative 7 times by x is equal to negative 5. So we're going to divide by that coefficient of x, right? So the negative 7 again on both sides. And what is x equal to then? X is then equal to, a negative divided by negative is a positive. So that answer is 5/7. But you could have also put all the x's on the right-hand side, right? Right on the right-hand side. So what you can do then is the first step is you would get rid of the negative 2x on the left-hand side. Okay, so how do I get rid of the negative 2x? I would add 2x. Okay, add 2x on both sides. So we've got 5x minus 2, and you add 2x on both sides. Right, oops, getting off the screen there, and 2x on both sides. So what do we have then on the left-hand side? On the left-hand side, there's a 3, and on the right-hand side, 5x plus by 2x is 7x. 7x minus 2. Okay, so now I want to get all my x's on the right-hand side, all my constants on the left-hand side. What's the opposite of? So I want to get rid of this minus 2 there. That sneaky rascal there. So how do I get rid of the negative 2? I need to add 2 on the right-hand side and add 2 on the left-hand side. So what is 3 plus by 2? That is equal to 5. And on the right-hand side, we just have 7x, right? Minus 2 plus by 2 is 0. Okay. That, of course, is the same as saying 7x is equal to 5. So that means 7 times by x is equal to 5. So how do I get rid of I don't want 7 of the same things. I just want one of them. So what we'll do is we'll divide by 7 on both sides. Okay, so therefore what do we have? X is equal to 5 over 7. And you see again, you get exactly the same answer. It doesn't matter which one you do, just be confident in doing it. So equation like this, if we need to solve it, let's go through it again. 2 different ways of doing it. So if I want all my x's on the left-hand side, what I'll do is I'll first need to get rid of this negative 2. Okay, so we've got a negative 2 here on the left-hand side. So we're going to add 2 there, right? So then that, of course, becomes 0. And so on the right-hand side then, that's 7x minus 3. I need to add 2 to the right-hand side as well. So what we've got is on the left-hand side, we've got negative 3x. And what do we have on the right-hand side? We've got 7x minus 1. Okay, that's not too bad. Now, if we want to get all the x's on the left-hand side, what do we need to do? We need to get rid of the 7x on the right-hand side, right? We need to get rid of this dude. So, how do I get rid of it? I need to subtract, so it's 7x minus 1. I need to subtract, so that's a plus 7x, right? I need to subtract 7x on the right-hand side, but I also need to subtract it then on the left-hand side. So we've got on the left-hand side, we've got minus 3x minus 7x, and on the right-hand side, we just have the minus 1, because 7x minus 7x is 0. And what is minus 3x minus 7x? It is minus 10x, all right? And that's equal to minus 1. So we've got negative 10 times by x is equal to negative 1. So let's divide that coefficient. So divide by minus 10, divide by minus 10. So therefore, x is going to equal to a negative divided by negative, of course, is positive. So then we get 1 over 10. If we solve this equation, solve for the values of this equation by getting the x's on the right-hand side, you might need to prefer the right-hand side because you don't want to deal with negative coefficients of x. What would you do? Okay, so we've got negative 3x minus 2 there. So the first thing you would do is you want to get rid of this negative 3x on the left-hand side. So you would add 3x on the left-hand side. But remember that 13th command, what you do on the one side, you must do on the other side, right? So I'm sure that's somewhere. So we've got, you add 3x on both sides. Okay, so what's happening here? Minus 3x plus by 3x is 0, so we've got negative 2 on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, we've got 7x plus by 3x is 10x, and minus 3. Okay, dokie, so how do I get rid of this negative 3 on the right-hand side? You need to add 3 on the right-hand side, and you need to add 3 on the left-hand side. Okay, so what happens now? Minus 2 plus by 3 is positive 1, and positive 1 then is equal to 10x, because minus 3 plus by 3 is 0. So that, of course, is the same as saying 10x is equal to 1. That means 10 times by x is equal to 1. We're going to divide by that coefficient on both sides, right? Because it's one term. So therefore, x then therefore is equal to 1 over 10. All right, this question, it's got x's on both sides and brackets. The perfect smoothie. So here we go. So we've got 5 there, chilling in front, and then the minus 2 times the bracket. And 5 again, chilling in front, putting his mask on, social distancing, and the minus 3 times by that. Do not go 5 minus 2, you can't. That 5 is not multiplied to anything but the minus 2. It's got a bit of baggage, right? It's got that 3x minus 2. You don't want, no, you don't want baggage. And then this is 5 again, 5 is just chilling there in front, keeping his own business, but this minus 3, oh my goodness, it's got baggage. Don't be tempted. Relationship advice. So here we go. So keep the 5 there in front, okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that negative 2 and distribute it to both terms. So we've got minus 6x plus by 4. And on the right hand side, we've got that we do the same, keep the 5 there and distribute the negative 3 to both terms. So we've got negative 12x plus by 3. So, and then you decide which one you want. You want your x's on the left-hand side, your constants on the other side, or the other way around, right? X's on the right-hand side, constants on the other side. Okay, I'm just going to do one of them now. So I'm going to put my x's on the left-hand side. So we've got 5 minus 6x plus by 4 on the left-hand side. So first thing, how do I get rid of this plus 5? Minus 5, right. And we've got 5 minus 2x plus by 3. So you're going to minus 5 on both sides, right? Because I want to get rid of the 5 on the left-hand side. And how do I get rid of this plus by 4? I would minus 4 on the left-hand side, but immediately I need to minus 4 on the right-hand side as well. So what do we have left here on the left-hand side? Left on the left-hand side, right. So we've got negative 6x left on the left side, and I'm going mad. And what we're going to on the right hand side, we're going to get we've got 3 minus, so 5 plus by 3 is equal to 8, and 8 minus 5 is 3, and 3 minus 4 is equal to negative 1. So we've got negative 1 minus 12x. Okay, x is on the left hand side, so what do? Well, we've got, how do I get rid of this negative 12x here on the left hand side? What are you going to do? I can't hear you. Yes, absolutely. You add 12x there, and you add 12x on the left-hand side as well. Okay, so what do we have left now on the left-hand side? Minus 6x plus 12x is 6x. And what do we have on the right-hand side? Negative 1. So therefore, divide both sides by 6. What does that mean? So that means x is equal to minus 1 over 6. All right, great. Senior stage. This is very important. You need to be able to be comfortable with all of these things before you can move on, right? Before we move on, because otherwise that's just going to freak you out a bit. Okay. So if you're not comfortable with these, I'm going to put there's another worksheet that you'll see posted. If this didn't go well, you try that as well, and you send the solutions to those to your maths teacher. Okay.